Well, in Maharashtra, it is clear now that the BJP is the single largest party, but it will still fall short of a few odd seats for a simple majority in the 208-member assembly. NCP leader Praful Patel has offered outside unconditional support to the BJP in the state, a move that has added more pressure on the BJP's former ally, the Shiv Sena, and made it perhaps a little jittery. Despite the Shiv Sena emerging as the second largest party in the state, it may lose out on its chance to be part of a state government. For the BJP, it's a win-win situation. The party's parliamentary board will be meeting just under an hour from now at the Delhi's BJP headquarters to chalk out what its next plan of action is going to be. Well, earlier, Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray, while speaking to us, had dismissed the Modi wave, but kept the option of a patch-up in the state an open possibility. My colleague Jugal Purohit caught up with BJP State Chief Devendra Fadnavis at the Nagpur airport after the BJP's performance in the state. On the NCP's offer, Devendra Fadnavis said all options for the BJP are open and that the Chief Minister will be, make no mistake, from the BJP.
BJP will form government in Maharashtra. Chief Minister will be Bharatiya Janata Party. The NCP has given you outside support. We have not decided anything as yet. All options are open. BJP will form government, that is certain.
What about Shiv Sena? One last question. What about Shiv Sena, sir?
All options are open.
BJP president, there you heard it. Devendra Fadnavis is talking exclusively through headlines today, saying that all options remain open for the Bharatiya Janata Party. It's confirmed that NCP has provided outside support. He's also said that they are now in talks with Shiv Sena.
Well, earlier, with indications that the BJP may fall short of attaining the majority, there was also speculation that the party may forge a post-poll alliance with the Shiv Sena to form the government.
It is natural that Shiv Sena and BJP come together. Now this equation has changed. Naturally, the Chief Minister will be from the BJP, but the Deputy Chief Minister and some important portfolios can go to Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena and BJP ruled the state for 5 years, from 1994 years, from 1995 to 1999. And Chief Minister was Shiv Sena's. First it was Manohar Joshi, then it was Narayan Rane. And the BJP had the post of the Deputy Chief Minister. That is the most, I will say, satisfactory arrangement.
Well, the BJP will hold its parliamentary board meeting at 6 this evening at the Delhi BJP headquarters. In Prime Minister Modi's presence, a detailed discussion will happen on possible tie-ups in Maharashtra. The NCP too is in a huddle, remember. The question of who will be Maharashtra's Chief Minister next has still not been answered. It's still not clear. While the BJP claims the Chief Minister will be from the BJP, the Shiv Sena too is eyeing a chance at the top job. It's sticking to its guns and saying that it has a right with its own performance to demand the post of Chief Minister in any potential formation.
स्वतंत्र निवडणुका लढवून देखील आमच्या जुन्या टॅलीपेक्षा 2.5 ते 3 पटीने आम्ही पुढे जातो अशा प्रकारची परिस्थिती हळूहळू उद्भवते आहे. जवळपास महाराष्ट्राच्या सगळ्याच भागांमध्ये भारतीय जनता पक्षाला चांगलं यश मिळालेलं आहे आणि मी विश्वास व्यक्त करतो या महाराष्ट्रामध्ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी निश्चितपणे सरकार स्थापन करेल, भारतीय जनता पक्षाचा मुख्यमंत्री होईल.
सब मिलाकर अगर हम देखें तो हमारे भी आंकड़े उम्मीद से कम है, लेकिन इतने भी कम नहीं है.
मुख्यमंत्री पद की अपेक्षा आपकी रहेगी?
क्यों नहीं रहेगी? मुख्यमंत्री पद की अपेक्षा क्यों नहीं रहेगी? राजनीति में सभी पर्याय होते हैं, सभी विकल्प होते हैं.
Well, the thing being analyzed the most right now, apart from which way things will actually go in Maharashtra as far as who will support the BJP in government formation, are the big takeaways for the BJP. Remember, it's become the principal pole in Indian politics at this point of time. The Modi factor has worked again. The Modi factor has worked. There were questions about whether it was there, about whether there was a Modi wave in Maharashtra. Well, that has simply been proven by the BJP emerging the single largest party in the state. Modi and Amit Shah have emerged as a lethal combination for the opposition in Maharashtra. They've answered all their critics, at least in this election. With the last citadels crumbling, the Congress has been found to be in terminal decline at this time. There have been messages coming out from the former Chief Minister, from Rahul Gandhi and others, but this is a message that's on the wall. The Congress has been pushed down to third place in both Maharashtra and Haryana, and that's something that's going to be ringing in the ears of leaders. Uddhav Thackeray emerges like he wanted to as kingmaker at second spot in the Maharashtra sweepstakes. That puts him in a very important position right now. Maharashtra has outright rejected rabble-rouser Raj Thackeray as Balasaheb's political heir. He's in the wilderness now. It's completely existential. Is the MNS going to be completely extinct by the next elections? Because everything that the MNS has tried to do has simply failed. Voters have clearly rejected dynasty politics and corruption as well. All right, we're getting you information minute by minute in the run-up to the parliamentary board meeting that the Bharatiya Janata Party will be holding. Sources have told headlines today that Devendra Fadnavis is the front runner for the Chief Minister's post in Maharashtra. The BJP parliamentary board will likely ratify Fadnavis's name as Chief Minister, and the BJP is all set to accept the NCP's outside support. The BJP will not go to anyone to actually actively seek support for government formation in Maharashtra. I want to take you straight across to managing editor Rahul Kaval, who's working the phones. He's speaking to his sources because this is a situation that is literally, Rahul, developing by the minute. What's the latest that you can tell us, Rahul?
Shiv, it's a bit of an anticlimax for the Shiv Sena. They were hoping with 61 seats, they would get to play the role of kingmaker in Maharashtra. That, unfortunately, no longer seems to be the case. We've spoken to very senior sources in the Bharatiya Janata Party, and they're telling us that the BJP will run a minority government in Maharashtra. They say, as by far the single largest party, it is incumbent on the governor to invite the BJP state unit chief to come and form the next government. They're also saying that they will take support from whoever gives support to the BJP-led government, which essentially means that they're not ruling out taking support from the Shiv Sena as well, as long as it is on the BJP's terms and conditions. They say, we will not go with a begging bowl to any party. If somebody comes to us, we will accept their support. Political parties must realize the present situation where the Bharatiya Janata Party has emerged as the elder brother in Maharashtra politics. If they reconcile themselves to that reality, we will be willing to accept the support of both the NCP, which has already offered unconditional support, and the Shiv Sena. They say nobody will come on board and be a part of this government. They will take their support from the outside and run the government in Maharashtra.
Rahul, you know, I know it's too early to tell at this point of time, but does the BJP or does any of the people you've been speaking to within the BJP, are they looking at the NCP as perhaps a less troublesome potential supporter than the Shiv Sena?
But there is a problem there, Shiv. While what you're saying is absolutely true, the NCP is the one party that the BJP targeted extensively. From Devendra Fadnavis to Amit Shah to Narendra Modi. When they campaigned and we heard those speeches, they gunned. Even in Baramati, Narendra Modi, when he was campaigning, they went after Sharad Pawar. So how does the BJP then justify taking the support of that party? They will now turn around and say, we didn't seek anybody's support. They're supporting us from the outside. They're not the only ones supporting us. So therefore, we're now prepared to accept their support. But that is an ideological problem, especially because there are people in the RSS who are not comfortable with the idea of taking support from the NCP. They feel that the Shiv Sena is the ideological partner of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Maharashtra. They would much rather see a Hindutva alliance coming together. But those who matter in the BJP at this time, the key people who have to take the decision, believe that the Shiv Sena will be a very troublesome ally. They'll be very petulant. They'll make conditions on a daily basis. They don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. They believe that the NCP will come on board, be a less troublesome ally, be easier to work with, will not be an obstacle when it comes to governance and administration, and therefore they'd rather work with the NCP. We must go back though, shift to the day the BJP and the Shiv Sena announced a split. In half an hour after that, we saw the NCP split with the Congress. It now emerges that this plan was worked out even before the alliance with the Shiv Sena split. It's been working to that script. This was Amit Shah's plan B. In case they fall short of a majority, bring the NCP on board, because the NCP is not a troublesome ally. They didn't create problems for Manmohan Singh when he was ruling in the centre. They want while they are very transactional and they have very fixed interests in terms of what they want, they're not troublesome when it comes to policy, when it comes to administration, they're pro-reform. The BJP doesn't think it will be a problem. The problem, of course, will be the ideological standing, the moral footing. How do you justify taking support from a party you've labelled as corrupt? That will be a problem. There's another thing, Shiv, I want to tell our viewers. While we're being told that the Maharashtra unit has recommended the name of Devendra Fadnavis, who's the state party unit chief, to be the next chief ministerial candidate, he is the odds-on favourite of Amit Shah, Narendra Modi and Om Mathur, three critical people who matter. He's the one they want to see installed as chief minister. There is a camp in the RSS that believes that Nitin Gadkari was unfairly done in when the party presidency was snatched from him, when those charges of corruption were levelled against the Purti group of companies. They feel that they have the obligation of making it up to Nitin Gadkari in some way. So there is a camp in the RSS that is pushing for Nitin Gadkari as well. However, given the fact that Devendra Fadnavis enjoys the support of the key people who matter in the BJP, it will be difficult for Nitin Gadkari, and he himself, when he spoke to Headlines today a short while before now, said, I am not keen on going. There's a possibility he might be asked if he's keen and he would probably decline. However, there's a counter view which suggests that Nitin Gadkari, because of his great equation with the NCP, will find it easier to work with the NCP and run the government in Maharashtra, because they will need the NCP support in all legislative matter. Remember, they're about 21 short of a majority, whereas Devendra Fadnavis, because he's known as strong-willed, because he's has a certain image in Maharashtra, might find it tougher to get into the business of wheeling, dealing, negotiating and working with the NCP, which is what the chief minister will need to do, given the fact that he runs a minority government. However, at this time, the sources who matter in the BJP seem quite determined to announce the name of Devendra Fadnavis before the end of the day. They say that the parliamentary board will ratify his name. However, the Gadkari option is an option that cannot be discounted just yet.
All right, so it's a tantalizingly intriguing situation even right now as far as government formation is concerned. The support that the Shiv Sena and the NCP, the Shiv Sena potentially offers, the NCP has already made that offer. Remember, on the 12th of October is when Narendra Modi at a rally in Pandharpur in Maharashtra had called the NCP naturally corrupt party. He had said that this is a party that if voted back to power will become even more and more corrupt. Very, very bitter things said about the NCP. Like Rahul said, how will that ever justify accepting their support even if it's outside support at this time? Tantalizing developments happening every moment. Just under 45 minutes left for the parliamentary board meeting of the BJP, where Devendra Fadnavis' name is likely to be ratified. We've got reporters on the ground. Rahul speaking to his sources. A clear majority for the first time ever in Haryana is a new record for the BJP, but the triumph has its own pitfalls, with at least 4 state leaders vying for the post of Chief Minister of Haryana. Captain Abhimanyu, the BJP's most visible Haryana face, is the front runner in the hustings. He's a prominent leader and is close to the central leadership. Abhimanyu had, however, lost 3 previous elections. The second aspirant is Anil Vij, the newly elected Ambala MLA, a seasoned politician having been elected 5 times on a BJP ticket. The third face is that of Manohar Lal Khattar, who could very well emerge the dark horse. Krishan Lal Gujjar, the former BJP Haryana state president, is also in the race, but he carries the burden of the party getting just 4 seats under him in the 2009 elections.
They made me a minister. They've given me a place in their house. I'm grateful to the BJP, and whatever else they decide for me as a party.
The question is, will you be the master of the house now, taking care of Haryana?
No, the master of the house is always the public. Whatever government does come into Haryana, they must work for the public and must take decisions on the opinion of the public.
If you're the chief minister, you'll be able to work well. Everybody harbors ambitions. Do you have ambitions that one day you'll be the chief minister?
I have ambitions that the discrimination that is being meted out to different parts of the state of Haryana by various governments should be redressed. And this is a vehicle through which I think that we will be able to redress those grievances of all sections of society and all areas of Haryana.
Will you be the captain of the vehicle?
That is for the party to decide.